Hello. 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 Hi, good morning to everyone. I hope everyone is doing good. My name is Gulafsha Ansari and I'm from India and I'm representing Sports for Change Tanzania. Again, today we'll be talking about how you can be mentally and physical fit without using any equipment. Okay, so I'm gonna show you some video, one yoga video. Hope everyone is ready. If you're ready, just show me thumbs up. Okay, I hope. Okay, that's really good. Okay, before we start video, can anyone tell me what are the benefits of yoga? Anyone? Okay, that's good. And what else? What about others? Okay, okay, that's really nice. Okay, so how many of you do yoga every day? Okay, only one? Okay, okay, that's really nice. Now, uh, Now I'll tell you what are the benefits of yoga. It keep your mind in peace and helps you to motivate yourself for another exercise, and it give you your body a flexibility what you can achieve from yoga.
Okay, am I supposed to use the one you sent on the first email? Fine.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our session today. My name is Jessica Kimosto, and I'll be a moderator for this panel on Dutch Youth Voices on Digital Inclusion. I would like to appreciate everyone for taking time to join this session once again, but also today I'll have with me 4 Dutch youth who are going to sit at this panel, coming from different countries, as DOT is, we know DOT is diverse, and we have youth coming from different countries joining the session today. I'll take a few minutes to introduce my panelists for today. We have Eunice Alela from Kenya. She's a Dutch youth, and she'll introduce herself on what she does. We also have George Akilimali from Tanzania, also a Dutch youth, who will also introduce himself on what he does. And we have Jad Said from Lebanon. And I would like really to appreciate Jad for joining our session despite the unfortunate situation that is happening in Lebanon right now. So without further ado, I would love to welcome them to introduce themselves, and I would like to start with George Kilmarley. George, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Thanks.
Hello, Jess. Hello, everyone. So my name is George Isaiah Kilmarley. I'm the co-founder of an organization called SmartCo Enterprise Limited. We are a social enterprise based in Arusha, and we do a lot of stuff, but mostly we are trying to make learning fun for secondary school students across East Africa. I'm happy to be here. Looking forward to connecting with you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, George. Next to my screen is Eunice Alela. Over to you, Eunice.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Morning, everyone. My name is Alela Eunice. I work at Google as a community manager with a focus on the Google Developer Experts Program. And also I work towards increasing diversity, the issues of diversity and inclusion when it comes to women in technology. Yeah, that's all from my side.
That's incredible. Thank you so much, Eunice. And next is Jad Said. Over to you, Jad.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jad Said. I'm from Lebanon, Beirut, Lebanon. I work with DOT youth and BOT youth here in Lebanon.
Thank you so much, Jad. All right, so as we've heard them, they're coming from a background of, digital. They're all doing something that is digital. So I guess we have a perfect fit for our topic today. So without wasting time, I'd like to start with you guys by telling us your personal journey. And this includes your engagement with DOT, any life-changing moments that you had with DOT, from the activities that you've been doing. Did you how have you empower youth in seeking and achieving digital opportunities in your communities? And you personally, how have you achieved this through your journey with DOT? And I would like to start with you, Jad. Welcome.
Hello, everyone, once again. As I told you, my name is Jad. I'm a mechatronics engineering student. I'm still a student. Though in school years, there happened to be a small training with DOT about digital stuff, all about the digital stuff. And it opened up a pathway for me to learn more about technology and to know more about technology and how it integrates with everything in our lives. So from that moment, I decided to go more into technology, and it was a turnaround for me, since I wasn't thinking really about technology and engineering, and afterwards I started working in this field. From that moment on, with Dot, I had too many opportunities in front of me, from working as a freelancer and being a youth, same time getting for some money aside while studying in the university, as well as meeting new people, getting new information about technology. It's all the way there from the school till now. I'll give it to you, Jessica, once again.
Thank you so much, George, for that brief introduction of your personal journey with Dot. I'll get back to you for more questions, and I would like to hand over to you, Eunice. Sorry, can you guys hear Eunice? Sorry, Eunice, if you're speaking, your mic is on mute.
Oh, thank you. I didn't even notice. So I was saying I joined DOT in 2017 when I was a computer science student in my second year, and I was on this long holiday and trying to figure out what next. Like, you're going to be at home for 3 months, so what am I going to focus on? Then I bumped into a poster that said there is an entrepreneurship class, and you're going to learn so much about entrepreneurship. You're going to learn how to be a youth leader. At the same time, you're also going to learn how to run communities. And to me, what stood out for me mostly was the fact that the focus was on skills, tools, resources, and networks. I think that was one of the things that was on the banner, and they said, you're going to be given skills, tools, resources, and networks. I still use that word up to now. So I really got excited about that. And joining the room, I knew nobody, but everybody felt like family. And reason being is everybody was excited to learn. We were so curious about what we were going to be taught. And luckily enough, there was this thing of you're supposed to do research on something, and then you come teach your ideas. So we were grouped in teams of 4. And I feel like learning how to collaborate at an early stage was really helpful. And the thing that stood out for me mostly while being a DOT youth is the fact that there was support. There were all these learning resources online, all these digital tools that you could use. So my journey with DOT has been a long one. But to me, I keep on telling myself that if not for DOT and the contribution that they made, I probably would not be seated, or I would not be where I am right now, because I learned a lot of things. I think for the past 3 years, I'm still learning from them. Yeah, that's all from my side.
That's awesome. I love how you said when you joined DOT, it felt like you met your family. Because the DOT Youth Network, all of it is one big family. Thank you so much, Eunice. Over to you, George. George, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Jesse. Can you hear me? Awesome. Hey, Jesse.
Hi, George. We can hear you well. Please proceed. Oops,
hey, Jesse.
Feels like Hi, George.
Hey, sorry. I think that's unfortunately the network just dropped out. so
Sorry about that.
Can you hear me well now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. So thank you, everyone. Once again, my name is George. Thank you, Eunice and Jad, for the great introduction. I think, Eunice, you almost summarized everything I wanted to say about it, but just in a quick nutshell, I first met DOT team in 2017. Literally, it's 2016 through LinkedIn. I got a message from my country director, back then it was Elgar Dawson, and he was saying like, you know what, I met your profile on LinkedIn and I think you might be a good fit for DOT program. First of all, I thought this can't be a scam or something like that. So I know the message for a couple of weeks, trying to figure out like who is this guy, like where did he come from. So I kind of ignored him for a while. Then later on, I decided to get back to him, and then we started to converse like what exactly they're doing, and why do they think that I'm a good fit to join the Dot community. So from there onwards, we started to work with Dot. And of course, as Eunice said, I think even if not for Dot, possibly where I am right now, I wouldn't be here because for my case, it's even critical because the first funding I received from external parties was from Dot family. So the registration of my company, the initial investment, the initial steps of building my business was purely from the Dot support. So of course, we learned a lot through the journey. We got to connect with different people. I got to travel across the world from Dot community. So I got to learn a lot from the engagement with Dot, and I think that's the takeaway from my experience with Dot from 2016 until to date. Back to you, Jess.
That's incredible. Thank you so much, George. So maybe a quick question to you guys. I would like to know how have you support youth in your communities, or have you support your own initiative to seek and secure digital opportunities? And this may be right after your journey with Dot or maybe before. And I would like to start with you, Jared.
Hello once again. So, as I told you before, the digital impact on myself as a youth was great. So I couldn't let that pass away just with me. So I was always referring that to other people around, other youth around me, specifically in my home village. So I come from the mountains, from a small village called Salima. So whenever any opportunity comes to me from Dot or from any other company or any other NGO, I always refer other youth to the digital because this opportunity that made me what I am today from Dot should be gone with everybody else here in Lebanon. We all need this kind of support, this digital support that can take us from one point to another point, from one level to another level. And it's a great big family, I can say. We all support each other here, and we try to support each other even more. So whenever there is an opportunity or anything I can help with any other youth in Lebanon, the same thing happened with me. I would definitely do it. Over to you, Jessica.
That's really awesome. Thank you so much, Jared. So what about you, George?
Yeah, so I think one of the greatest things which I learned from Dot was how to adopt digital technology and to make it inclusive as much as possible. So even if I'll take an example of what we've been doing. So when we started, we had this amazing, great idea, but it never considered some inclusion in some aspects. For example, we never considered that the consumption of our product, our digital product, will be different from women and men. Also, it will be different from people with disabilities and people with non-disabilities. So for us, we kind of started to think beyond the normality, beyond the normal ways of thinking. So we started to include every aspect of gender, every aspect of inclusivity along our innovations, along our digital products. So I think that has been the greatest learning from the Dot digital inclusion. And of course, we've been helping other startups and other individuals who wants also to learn how to include, to make their digital innovations to be inclusive as much as possible. So I think that's the feedback for me. Back to you, Jess.
Thank you so much, George. So maybe one more question. So what might have been
Jessica, I think your network dropped out.
So till Jessica came, George, where are you from?
Yeah, so how are you, Jad? I'm from Arusha, Tanzania. Yeah, so I think you said you are from Lebanon.
Yeah, I'm from Lebanon.
Yeah, we never met before. Have you been into any DOT event, like either a conference or any international based
No,
conference?
this is my first international.
What
about you, Eunice?
I was there for yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, which one? Which one from Rwanda or from Kenya?
The one in Kenya, 2018.
Oh,
yeah.
That's interesting. I was there, but I couldn't see you. So how do you see about it?
Hidden faces.
Yeah, because I was in the panelist, I think. So I thought definitely you saw me, but yeah, I never saw you. So I'm interested to know about that.
But I think the most interesting thing about Dothan Conference for me for 2018 was getting to see people from, I think, 13 countries, all with different ideas, innovations, and creation, showcasing and just trying to see the impact that the youth were creating in their different communities. I think that was really insightful in the whole session. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the most interesting part of it, because for me, I think I remember the first time I went to the Dothan conference in Rwanda. That was the first time I actually spent like a week with people from almost 15 different countries. Like we stay together, we sleep together, we eat together, like we play together, we make fun, we quarrel together. Like it was super fun and super exciting. And I think it was an opportunity for me to also to learn how other people actually works and how other people actually, cultures and everything. So I think it's the best experience for anyone who want to attend that type of conference.
I would definitely say that's a great experience you had. Welcome back, Jessica.
Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I was asking George about digital challenges. I think if I'm gonna be asked what is the digital challenges I've faced, it will be this one. I don't know how my internet got me kicked out. Yeah, but I'm glad I'm back. Sorry about that. Thank you so much for doing. So George, it was your part. I wonder if you had shared your biggest challenge already.
Just can you rephrase the question? Can you rephrase the question? Sorry.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So my question was, you said when you started your digital platform, you know, like you again went back to look at how you can have everyone included. So you mentioned about you know, like the challenges facing people with disabilities and how women also sometimes face challenge in joining this digital platform, and you are trying to accommodate them all. So I want to know what might have been the biggest challenge you faced while you were trying to having them all included in the platform.
Yeah, so I think the biggest challenge for any digital innovation in these countries, apart from before considering even the issues of like gender, the issues of age and everything, I think it's just the readiness for people to adapt digital innovations. So the biggest challenge has been how do we make sure people actually, first of all, adapt using these digital innovations. That's the first challenge which we actually first, and of course it's a challenge even now, but we are trying to consider how can we navigate around that. So after figuring out how can you make sure people actually use the product you are making, then you can start thinking about how can we make sure that there's no gap between maybe this gender and this gender, or this age group and this age group, because we are still seeing that. Of course, we are trying to make the product inclusive as possible, but still we're still seeing there's a gap between the usability. Like we have more men users than women users, so we have to figure out how can we motivate the other group to also use the product. But it's still a challenge, and I think that is something everybody should expect. As long as you are building a digital innovation, especially in the African market, you have to expect such kind of challenges.
Awesome,
Yes.
awesome. Thank you so much, George. So over to you, Eunice, to tell us how you have been seeking digital opportunities and supporting your communities to, to find opportunities in the digital world. Your mic is on mute, Eunice.
Thank you. I keep on forgetting to unmute it. So I think that the thing is, my current role has actually put me at the forefront of working with tech communities, working with people who are interested in getting into the digital space. But the greatest thing about being a part of DOT was there was a category where you would choose to be a social innovator or a community youth leader. And while learning about both of them before picking one to go with, there was this concept of digital inclusion cropping up in most conversations. How do you ensure you move your business from an offline model to reaching more people online? So currently, what I do at Google is we seek to train more people. We seek to equip them with, now I'm going to use the word resources. I know this is more like a dot word for me. We seek to equip them with resources, and mostly this is material that they can use to just learn how to be better software developers, or learn how to create an online presence for their business. Front also, I've been working with young ladies. My focus was on ladies because being a computer science student also, in a class of, let's say, 50 people, you'd find like only 4 ladies would actually do something digital, write code. And then on my first hackathon ever, I was one lady amongst 30 men in the room, and nobody would accept me into their group. Reason being, ladies would not write code. We were not only write documentation. So I was a bit alone in the whole room until a group of 2 people came like, okay, can you just join you? Because you've already done the work. But in my mind, I was like, if this is how women are going to be treated, then I have to create a difference. I have to train more people. I have to be the voice of other women. So my focus has been on training young women on just how exactly they can be empowered, how they can create an online presence for themselves, and also how they can use the existing resources, because these resources are available to us, but how exactly do you ensure that you can maximize it to work to your advantage? Yeah.
Awesome. You mentioned something very interesting, and considering the fact that in this session right now, we're coming from different countries, seems to me like it's common for like tech subjects to have fewer women, because I think it's the same situation as in Tanzania and maybe some other countries that we don't know. Awesome. So you have again mentioned that you're working with young women to help them learn about technology and digital stuff. I want to know what are the challenges you're facing working with this, and especially that you're also a young woman.
The biggest challenge is having people to believe that you can actually deliver until you start speaking. it is not the same as when it comes to men, I'd say so. Because this is an example of when I was in my 4th year, I was trying to train a group of young people just within the same class on digital skills. And the fact that I was the one delivering the content, they're like, how do you know all this? There's this, like, also now you start getting imposter syndrome at the back of your mind. You're like, okay, maybe I'm not the right person to do this. So it's more like a personal issue, and also getting the society to just believe that you can do it. And at the same time, also, for you would find that even if you set the class to be for women, that'd be still like an 80% male attendance instead of female, and it just keeps on bothering you. And the reason would be we keep on saying we are not at 100%, this is not my thing. Or maybe you push an opportunity to somebody to apply, and they say, I do not qualify for all the skills that you want me to have or that the company is asking of me. So what I realized was, as women, to be specific, I think our biggest thing that drags us back is the fact that we do not believe in ourselves. We do not believe that we can do it. And so I keep on saying that if you have somebody you look up to, then you're able to do it. So it's just getting the right people to act as mentors. Yeah.
Really amazing. That's really amazing. Yeah, so I like it how you mentioned that we all need someone to look up to. And maybe one last question will be, what support system do you think women need?
I think the greatest support system is a community of women for women, where you develop solutions for women by women. Because if, let's say today I work towards something that fights gender-based violence, I am a woman doing this. Other women will believe also I can do this. And the same way, let's say, I'm just going to use my both my names. So let's say I develop a solution for women today, or just for the society. Then I'll say Alela did this, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, if Alela can do this, then why can't I do this? It just kind of motivates you. So if you have this whole community of women who surround you, I think it's having the greatest support system is people like you who are going through the same issues and trying to come up with different solutions to different problems within the ecosystem. Yeah.
That's incredible. Thank you so much, Eunice. My dear audience, is at the beginning I mentioned that we'll have 4 panelists. Jamila was a bit late, but she's here now. Welcome so very much, Jamila. I would like you to take a few minutes to introduce yourself and what you're doing to achieve digital inclusion in your community.
Hi. Thank you. My name is Jamila Kamisi, and I'm a data scientist and machine learning engineer. So I'm happy to join, though I was late because of the internet connection, but now I'm happy to join. I've been working with DOT for a long time in my community, working with women and then also disadvantaged people. So what we do is trying to help them, training them basics in ICT. So like how to use computer. One of the courses that I usually like was Meet Your Computer. Know those women who don't know how to use computer, how to click on a mouse, and then starting using it, open just a computer for them. It was like a miracle. It was like something new that they couldn't believe that one day they could do. So also, because most of them are business women who are doing some small businesses in their community. So helping them how they can even their phone just to calculate something, or using social media to promote what they are doing was something good. So for the digital, I don't know if I can also explain for me what the digital inclusion means to me and what I've seen in the community, or that one will be something later.
Sure. Please go ahead, Jamil.
Oh, okay. So as we're talking about digital inclusion, for me, there are keywords that come in my mind. That one is accessibility, knowledge,
it's 10 hours,
digital skills and opportunities. So when you are saying inclusion in my community, I feel like they need access to content, access to what they need to improve their business, opportunities that they may help them to succeed in what they are doing. So in few words, so that's what I'm doing in the community, working with women and young people.
That's really awesome. Thank you so much, Jamila, for sharing your journey and what you're doing with your community. So the challenge of facilities and opportunities for them to improve their businesses. Is there any other kind of challenges that you have faced working with women, as you mentioned? Especially that now you are training them to use, digital platforms. Is there any challenge that you can share with us?
Yeah, one of the challenge is language barrier. As you know, most of the content are in English, and then when you are working with women in rural areas, most of them do not know English, for example. So the barrier that they have is kind of translating it in the local content so that they can understanding it very well. Even though like just the smartphone or a computer that they can use, the phone that they can use, everything is in English. So you have to explain to them everything, translate word by word for them to understand. And for them to access the content, they need it to be translated in the local language. So that one is one of the barriers. And secondly, you may find that they use this future phone. So they are limited as well with that one. And others, we find that it's only the husband who has a phone, not the woman. So for her to access to information, she needs to go and ask her husband the phone, something like that. So those are some of the challenges that we can face when working in the communities.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to hear from your own example as a youth leader. So what has been the most exciting moment?
I always believe that the community is like my mirror. When I see bringing some change into their lives, they smile into their life, that is something that I'm proud of. So one of the success stories that I know in the community was one of the lady. She dropped out school. She lived with her mom, and her mom was a tailor. So she was trying to find out what to do because she couldn't have anything and then out of school. So she was now trying to see what she can do, but also she doesn't know how to use computer, how to use her phone. And then she tried to work with her mom, helping her how to tailor different clothes. So with that one, and then that one was one step. Now she could have a shop with clothes, doing but her own, most of the time for babies. And then was a good thing or a success story, something that is good. It was when she was trying now to use her own smartphone. She bought a smartphone, and then with that smartphone, she started posting what she's doing. Because like during this time of COVID, for example, you know that most of pregnant women didn't have during lockdown where to buy clothes for the babies. So she tried to start making them and then post them on social medias. And with that one, she gained customers. And then with that one, putting that smile to that lady of 18 years, seeing that change in her life was something good to see.
That's really, really nice. Thank you so much for Jamila for sharing this. And you've just reminded myself as when I was a community leader working with DOT as well. As you said, like it feels really good to see that you've made an impact on people's lives. And, so I was also facilitating, ICT and entrepreneurship skills. And one of the ladies, her name is Maestra. I mean, that's the name of her tailoring company. She actually wrote some goals down, and she was like, from the next 6 months, I'm going to save and buy my own computer, where when people come to my office, I'll be, I'll be using my computer to register them, like to have a database of the clients and stuff. And after a year, of course, it didn't happen after 6 months, but after a year, she has expanded her company and she uses computer. Like, I'm so happy, and it feels so good to create an impact on people's lives. Thank you so much, Jamila. So I would like to get back to you, Jad, to tell us a little bit about the situation of digital inclusion in your own context, and this is in your own countries. How do you say it? Do you think youth are included enough in digital platforms? Do they feel safe to be in these digital platforms? You can speak it on your own context. Welcome, Jad.
Thank you so much, Jessica. As I told you before, the impact of DOT on me specifically was great. So on the way of my search to help other people in Lebanon, getting the digital information enough, I had encountered like not challenge, but a situation that was amazing. There is a platform called GGIT, which is Girls Got IT. DOT helps with that. It's a platform that we introduce technology and engineering and all of the things that women usually don't go to. So it was a great experience trying to approach them more into technology and to get them to know more about engineering, technology, digital skills, all of that. So that's one part of helping women here in Lebanon. The digital inclusion in Lebanon, it's not that bad. However, still needs more promotion. More people needs to get the information right. Not all of the people has the opportunity. However, what we're trying to do here in Lebanon with DOT, they created a platform called BOT. So it's Bridge Outsource Transform. And in that platform, what we're trying to do is all of the people that takes the trainings with DOT about digital skills, computer literacy, and other trainings. So we were trying to get them a job and how to practice these skills into real life through job freelancing for all of the youth. Maybe they're still in the universities, maybe they're still in their schools, but they're using their skills, their technological skills, into practice and to work and get some money aside. So that's what's happening here. I guess it's a great opportunity to learn few more things and try to practice them in real life. And that's a great impact, not only on me, on all of the youth around me. Because when you're at a young age and you still didn't finish your university or school, you cannot work with your digital literacy. So hereby we're offering opportunities to all of the youth, not only just to learn new skills, but to go into the field and know more about it. Not specific to any gender, no. We're all in this together, like women, men, youth, even old people. So yeah, that's from my side.
That's really nice. Thank you so much, Jad. Over to you, Eunice.
Okay, so from my country, Kenya, I feel like we are making strides. And this, I would say, because there's so many communities that have been created in the past 4 years plus. They just work towards diversity and inclusion. And an example is the Women Tech Makers program. I know it runs across the whole world, but when it comes to Kenya, there are 6 communities, women tech maker communities, working towards just increasing visibility of women in the technology space. Then there is the Rails Girls Nairobi. There's so many other communities. I know we are not at 100% because even when there are these women communities, you'll still find a larger percentage of gentlemen attending the sessions. But I believe if we increase these numbers, if we just try to tell people what is happening outside there, I feel like Kenya is making strides. I would not say it is at 100% because no country is that when it comes to gender equality. Another example is communities like the Grasshopper. Recently, they had this whole scholarship program, and luckily I was a scholar for last year, and one of my mentees was a scholar for this year. So it was really exciting. And seeing that there are 10 women in Kenya who get the scholarship plus, it is really, like, I think like such communities are actually really helping. From a Kenyan front, we may not get there yet in the next 5 years, but I feel like if there are more efforts given, because it all begins with us also, if we, men or women, youth, young people or old people, are actually able to accommodate the fact that this is an important conversation, this really has to happen, then at some point we will achieve this 50-50 equality. Yeah.
Yay, 50-50 equality on digital inclusion. Thanks, Eunice. Back to you, George.
So thank you guys again. I think I want, it's the same situation across East Africa, but I'll speak about specifically on the situation in Tanzania, especially on the digital inclusion part of it. So right now in Tanzania, we have about 15 million internet users. Like that's the actual number as of 2020. So the 15 million users, when you look into this data in details, you just find yourself that almost 60 to 70% of it are men users. So we just have 30% of it, or let's say 35% of it, which are female users. So there's a huge gap in terms of how the digital inclusion actually works. I understand there's some organizations which are working towards to improving this situation. One of them is Digital Opportunity Trust. I know you have several programs which are targeting women's and digital economies, trying to teach them how to leverage digital channels, social medias, and all that stuff. But I think the gap is still there. Yesterday, I was looking to some of the statistics, and I was, let's take an example for social media, because when we talk digital, let's just start with the basics, like where people actually spend most of the times when they're on the internet or when they're online. So for the instance, when we talk about Instagram, as of January 2020, like 60% of the users were literally male. So this is like the actual data which are existing right now. So we have a gap of 60 ratio 40 for the Instagram users. The same applies to Facebook and Twitter audience and even LinkedIn. So I think the gap is still there, and I think it's the right time for us to start pushing women to actually use these digital tools, whether it's a social media, whether it's other digital platform, to make sure that they can engage with the different activities. But I think the situation is not that good for, at least from my perspective, for how I see the data. I think we need to work more on pushing people to adopt digital innovation and digital technology. Back to you, Jess.
That's really awesome. Thank you so much, George. So over to you, Jamila.
Thank you so much. Now the situation in Rwanda, I can say that now the coverage of high-speed broadband infrastructure has now reached all the corner of the country, so everywhere can find internet. And then for the digital inclusion, we find that there are some telecom companies now that help in that, like distributing smartphones in rural areas. You have like Marathon. There was a challenge last year where different people give Marathon to women in rural areas. And that one is something that can help them, because one of the things that lets women to not access to content is without having smartphones. So that's one help. Also, we have different community organization that help that. Also Dot Rwanda, we can say that one with the Digital Ambassadors program, working with the Ministry of ICT. They reach to many people in rural areas, help them how to access to e-government services. You know, here in Rwanda, we have a platform for e-government. So if you need like a birth certificate, everything that you need, you can find them online. So with the digital ambassadors, that's one help a lot to women or young people, those disadvantaged people, to reach to those contents. Also with business, e-business services. So I can say that Dot Rwanda has done a lot helping in the digital inclusion here in Rwanda.
Thank you so much, Jamila. Thank you so much. So I know the panelists have been taking over for quite some time now. So I'm gonna go back to my audience, my DL participants, for questions or comments. I'm gonna take 15 minutes for this, and kindly unmute yourself and ask a question. You can target it to any of the panel, or you can raise it as a general question and they'll be able to respond. Or you can write it on the chat in case you're unable to speak. Welcome. You can also raise a hand if you're unable to speak, and we can unmute you to speak. So far, what we have in the chat, someone is trying to speak. Waziri, welcome.
Yes, I mean, thank you for the colorful presentation from our different countries. I'm from Tanzania, based in Arusha, and I'm very much excited to see Georgia Kilmarley, because we are about to inaugurate technical working group for adolescent and youth. Currently, we are dealing with youth in different areas, university clubs, and first-time parents for the teenager pregnancy. For quite a long time, we have seen 12 years old, 11 years old, they conceive, and they are kicked out of school, and they are remaining with a confusion, and they don't know what to do with their life. So I have many groups for the first-time parents in different dispensary and health centers for youth-friendly service. I don't want to take much of your time because I know there is a long queue for other speakers as well, but I'm from Johns Hopkins University for International Program Gynecology and Obstetrics. So I'm supporting regional health management team and council health management team as well. So we are kind of like starting a technical working group for adults and youth. And I think this is a platform for digital media. We've been trying this for quite some time, but didn't work out. I think when I get a chance to see Georgia Kilmarley, we're gonna see how to move this forward. My great question is like protocols for partnership. I don't wanna take much time, as I said, because Georgia Kilmarley, I noted that he based in Arusha, and I'm in Arusha, and I shared my phone contact and email account. Perhaps we can get in touch and see how can we integrate AYSRH plus a digital platform, because in universities we have Institute of Technology universities and health universities. This is going to be also a great platform for the secondary schools because our aim is to reduce teens pregnancy and the GBV in many ways as we can through integrated services. Multi-sectoral collaboration is the key to our programs as well. So thank you very much.
Nice. Thank you so much, Waziri. George Waziri has shared his contacts on the chat box in case you guys can connect. So the next question is from Elizabeth Kitange to all panelists. And she's asking, what are some of the core skills today's youth should have to push their self-learning for digital inclusion? This goes to all the panelists, so any of you guys can choose to respond. Okay, should I point fingers? Eunice, would you want to? Oh, I see that Jamila has unmuted herself. So Jamila, please proceed.
Just asking if you can please repeat the question. My network was kind of breaking off.
Oh, sorry about that. All right. The question is, what are the some of the core skills today's youth should have to push their self-learning for digital inclusion? Did you hear that one, Jamila?
Yeah. Yes, I heard that. Yeah. So I can say that the skills that I need, it's wide depending on what the person is doing, because it's for the digital inclusion now we have different new job position, if I can say that. You have new job position in digital, we have digital marketing, we have machine learning, we have this industry, revolution industry 4.0. So what I can tell the person is in your career, in your field, try to see what you can do, which is related to what you do, like in digital skills. Maybe if I can know more about what she's doing, that will help to guide the person to what she can do in this area. But what I can tell her or him is just follow the field that you are doing and you can find something.
Awesome, thank you, Jamila. So Elizabeth, maybe would you want to, was that a general question, or you are working on something and maybe you want to understand the kind of skills that you need? Because Jamila asked if you can elaborate more, and then she'll be able to support on what kind of skills you might need. She's supposed to be. But if it was a general question, then I think it's clearly stated, unless there is anyone else who wants to add more points from the panel. Eunice, George, Jad.
I think I'll just echo what Jamila has said. It actually depends on what exactly you're looking at. So let's say you're looking at a career as a software developer, then there are some resources that you have to look at. You have to go make the first step of trying to actually understand the fundamentals and maybe interact with other developers and see what's happening in the market and how can you gain more skills, what skills are required of you. And I think the greatest skill is the big soft skill, which is the willingness to learn. You should be willing to learn other things. And also you should adapt to what is the changes, because the tech space is one that keeps on changing. So the digital space keeps on changing. It's not a constant. And then I've just shared a link on the chat segment where people can actually get resources for digital skills. And this will carry you on from how to make money from online. So let's say you want to make money from YouTube, or you have your own YouTube channel, to how to increase an online presence for your business. And also how exactly do you get about digital marketing, and how can you aid others? How can you train other people? So I've just thrown it on the chat section for anybody who'd want to go through resources. It's a very good tool. And I feel like for other people who are looking at a career or trying to figure out digital skills that they need, you can just go through it and figure out which one best suits you as an individual. Yeah.
Thank you, Eunice. Are the sessions for free?
Yes, they are free and they're meant for Africa. Digital skills for Africa.
Awesome, yeah. Awesome. In case you missed it, the link is on the chat box, guys. You just click it and choose the course that you want. Any other questions from my participants, please? Remember, you can raise a hand, or you can leave your question on the chat box, and then I'll read it for the panelists. Could be a question, comment, recommendation, anything.
I'm back again. My question to all the panelists, because we have an application called TCI University for AYSRH, whereby youth can go online and read and do some tests, and they are awarded certificate by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, John Hopkins, and the universities. I'm trying really hard to make them do the test and be awarded. But one of the great challenge, I don't know if you guys facing on the media platform, is a connectivity. A lot of students say they don't have bundles, and all the time, whenever you want them to go to learn something online, they complain about bundles all the time. So you are coming from different countries. Are the situation are the same? Because digital platform, always when we talk to adults, they are talking about, oh, I don't have smartphone. Oh, I don't have money for buying bundles. I mean, and we are digitalized. How do you guys address it? And right now, like you're sharing this link, I don't want to talk much about African continent because we have someone, Jadis from Lebanon and the rest of Africa. Like, how do we address this as youth? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Waziri. Yeah. Over to you guys.
Yeah, so I think I'll take it, Jesse. So I think I'll take an example of what we try to do. And I think that can also help you guys to figure out how to move forward. So for our case, I think it has been the same because our platform, and of course for our platform, it has been even worse because our platform is mostly visual based. So we do video streaming, we do interactive quizzes, interactive games. So they need a lot of bundles and a lot of data access for any users to actually use our platform. So what we decided to do, we started to formulate some kind of strategic partnership to make sure that we lower the cost of internet for our users. For example, a few months ago, we partnered with Vodacom Tanzania, trying to make sure that any user who is using Vodacom network will access all the platform we have, all the content we have, free of internet. So they don't need to have any bundle, they don't need to have any subscription to any bundle package for them to access our platform. So I think that's the best approach you can look into to figuring out how can you partner with specifically telecom providers, either to completely remove the cost or to lower the cost to specific user group which you are targeting. Back to you, Jess.
Thank you so much, George. Waziri, I hope that answers your question. Is there anyone else from the panel who would want to add from what George has said?
Maybe just to, thank you, Jessica. So the thing is that I think the situation is the same in Kenya. What I noticed is whenever you try to engage people, most of the youth, they have smartphones, but having them online for more than an hour is a bit expensive because you're going to spend, let's say, $2 on 400 megabytes of data, which will not even last you for the whole time. So what happens is there is an opportunity to partner with telcos, and that's what George has said. And what happened is there are now YouTube bundles, and then there is also study bundles. So study bundles are for students. You are supposed to purchase them only if you're a student, which enables you to go online at a cheaper rate. And then for the youth also, there is the Blaze data bundles, which is a bit subsidized price for what other people are going to buy the same data with. And so I think the biggest thing is you first have to figure out a structure that works best, because in Kenya, internet is cheaper if you're purchasing it from midnight to 6 a.m., which most people are rarely awake. So you'll spend a few shillings on internet at night, but you're not going to be active at night. So the best alternative is first figure out which timings work best for those that you are targeting, and then even if it's partnering with a company, an example is Africa's Talking offers this API services. So how exactly do you incorporate this into what you do such that whoever you are targeting can get a subsidized amount based on an agreement that you already have with the providers. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Eunice.
I have to add something.
Sure, please go ahead.
It's the same thing in Lebanon here. Like the internet is not the best, and we have a lot of problems with connectivity. So whenever we're doing online session or anything like that, we always have to record it. So the people who couldn't watch the video, couldn't be live with us, they will see it later on. That's how we're trying to solve it. However, most of the youth, they have smartphones, but not all of them, they have access to the internet, as well as the internet is really expensive here. So we're always trying to cope with everything that's happening here.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Judge. Elaine, I hope I've spelled your name correctly. There was a time you raised a hand. Can you please unmute yourself and ask the question?
Hello, everyone. I think that everyone is hearing me. My name is Ale Iwachimogo from the Youth Lab, the Youth Leadership Advisory Board from Botswana. First of all, I would like to appreciate the panelists and the moderator for the tremendous discussion we had about this topic. So I would like to ask, we emphasized on the issue of providing digital skills into our community. I would like to ask each and every panelist that yes, we provide digital skills, but how are you helping your
Sorry,
community?
Elaine, sorry. I think you're a bit, your voice is very low. Can you please increase your voice?
Okay, are you getting me, please?
Yes, much better.
Okay, cool. So I was talking about how as young leaders we are providing digital skills into our community. So I would like to ask each and every panelist that when we provide digital skills into our community, how are we helping our community to turn those digital skills into business orientation? Because we have seen that we are claiming about the people are not accessing on the internet because they don't have that capacity of affording it in terms of money. So how are we helping them just to use those digital skills into getting like a money just to buy those bundles themselves, or just doing another things relating to the digital skills they have gained? Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Elaine. Back to you, panelists.
Yeah, so I'll try to answer that question and to respond to see if that works. But from my experience, when we try to teach digital skills, or for example, I'll take example of what we do. When we try to teach somebody about digital skills, we normally try to teach them also on how to commercialize that skills. Because when we talk about digital skills, we talk about like things like how to do social media marketing. We're talking about how to do digital branding. We're talking about like how to do your corporate or business branding. So all these skills which we are teaching these guys to have, we mostly, the most important part is to put a focus on how they can commercialize the skill they have. Because right now, if you know how to do a social media marketing, you can actually consult for somebody else and they can pay you. You can get the money to also access other resources or other, to buy internet bundle or whatever you want to do. So I think the most important part is to emphasize on the commercialization of the skills they get. At least that's my view, my general view on
that. To add up on what George said, whenever the youth, we have to learn them, we have to teach them new skills about technology. We have to be more careful with integrated with real life and how they can use it. So as George said, like marketing and and company making, as he said, we have to be more into the practice. So like we're doing here in Lebanon, we're creating opportunities for these youth who has the maybe basic digital skills, but still they can use it and they can get money out of it. Even with simple tasks like data entry, e-commerce, anything of that, any digital literacy could help them practice it and go more into the field of it.
To add on what you just said, I can also say when we teach about digital literacy, we also focus on their passion. So when you know the passion of someone and then you combine it with the digital literacy, that it can help that person to know what he can do in the future, or maybe if he's already have some background in a business the person is doing, let's say selling, let's say like selling tomatoes. He has already that skills, he already doing that business, and then also he like the business. And then when you help that person now how to use computer or how to use his smartphone to do something to promote, to marketing what he's doing, that's when we help the person to do it very well because he has that passion already. He already know how to do those things. So combining it with the passion of the person can also help them to improve their skills.
And I think I just want to add something to what Jamila has said. When you tell somebody that you can go digital, you can have all these resources digital, show them how to do it. Because if there's one thing that is really important in getting somebody started or getting somebody to be able to commercialize whatever it is you're training them on, is giving them hands-on practical skills and examples that they can use for reference. So what I noticed is at times we go all through to talk about you can do digital marketing, or you can use Facebook to do this and this. You can use all these social media platforms to get your business online. But we do not show people how to do ads, how to ensure there is a bigger reach as compared to the normal reach that anybody could reach out to. So when you talk about training people on digital skills, it is very important to show them how to get started. And the moment you give me the fundamentals, yes, it is very important. The moment you give me the theoretical bits of it, it is very important. But I believe that the hands-on training, the hands-on experience, if I see somebody walk me through step by step on how to get started on digital marketing, it will stick to the back of my mind, and I will also be able to train the next person. So as a trainer, I do not have to keep on going back and forth to train other people, but rather I will rely on the first person I trained to keep on training. So you make it a continuous chain. And by so doing also, they're able to make money from it. They're able to commercialize the whole thing. So give them hands-on experience is really, really important. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Eunice and others for your contribution to that, to answering the question. So from the chat, there's a question from Violet, and this is targeted to the male champions in the panel. And she's asking, how can we get more male champions in contributing to bridging the gender digital divide? George and over to you, George and Judd.
Yeah, sure. So I think the best way to make sure that many actually contribute towards bridging this gap is to engage them. From my experience, I saw that people are talking about digital divide, but in the sense that they don't actually engage the male community. Like for me, for myself, like I cannot think about the situation where maybe a girl wants to use this specific product. So I have to understand exactly why they're not using it. Maybe it might be either it's a barrier in terms of access to resources, or it might be a barrier in terms of technophobia. So we have to be engaged. I think you can engage if it's your brother, if it's it's your father or whatever who is building a digital innovation. You as a lady, you have to talk to them. The situation, like when I'm building a product and nobody told me that this product ought to be used by this type of girls because of 1, 2, 3, then I can think about it in that perspective. So I think it's just a matter of engagement, like trying to engage, and you have to speak about it openly, because there's still that fear of, okay, when I speak about these challenges we are facing as girls using this technology, I feel maybe inferior or whatever. So we have to be open about it. We have to engage each other. Then I think that will bring a lot of men on board, because we are not denying that there's a gap. And I think everybody can agree with me that we are not denying that. The problem is that we don't know, possibly most of people don't know how to address it. So we have to learn from the experience of the girls themselves, the women themselves, like this is our situation. And I think when you do the 1, 2, 3, this will help us to adapt more your technology using, go digital easily. So something like that.
Thank you, George. Jared, do you have anything to
Yeah,
add?
I do agree with George. It's all about participation and engagement. So if we're trying to engage more people, more male people to this small community of technology literacy, by that way we can work together to find a solution for the gap. It's all engaging and participating together, as George said.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jared and Josh, the male champions in the panel, as Violet calls you. I would like to invite Ali to ask a question. You've raised a hand. Ali, over to you.
Hello, Jessica. Hello, everyone. Actually, it wasn't a question. It was more of what we do here in Lebanon in the case of internet bundles and with the youth not affording. What we're doing here is we are working with the youth and providing them with the bundles, like from the funds and projects we're running in Lebanon, in order for them to be participating. As for the gender gap, we're trying to reduce that and increasing our female participants in the trainings up to 70% versus to males. And that way we are creating more opportunities to women and females in rural areas access the technology and the training they need in social media marketing and digital media literacy. Thus will reduce the digital illiteracy among the youth and women in the rural areas, and thus they are creating their opportunities. I would like to add what Jad already said with the BOT, the Bridge Outsource and Transform, as a social impact where we provide those young women and youth as well to create that opportunity by becoming freelancers to generate income for the skills and digital skills that they have learned during their trainings in our digital media literacy programs, social media marketing, as well as joining the platform where they can always register as freelancer. This is basically my 2 cents. I would like to encourage the youth in Africa to be committed, be on time. At the end of the day, we will get there with the help. Nobody has made it on their own, and DOT is always there to provide those opportunities and to boost those economic opportunities and skills in order for them to move forward. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ali, for sharing. I would like to go back to the chat and read a question from Hadija Kwembe. And this goes to all panelists. Hadija is asking about What about the women who don't know how to read and write? What is the means or use of helping them? And regarding, I love this question because we're speaking about inclusion. So what about this group of people? Over to you, panelists.
I think I'm going to check this one because I've been in a situation whereby I was asked to do a training, and a digital skills training, and everybody else, nobody in the room spoke English or Swahili, so everybody was speaking mother tongue. And I found it a bit crazy because trying to translate the content from English to mother tongue was a bit difficult. Yes, it is a language that I was good at, but it was not. I feel like I could not deliver the content. I'd say when such happens, the greatest thing is get somebody they can connect with, get somebody who understands them at the same level to translate the content. Because that is the only way you're going to be able to have them included in whatever conversation you're having. If you go to a group of women who do not read or write, show them a bit of things in the local dialect, which they may understand best. Get somebody from the region. I think language barrier is one of the issues that we have. And if they're unable to read it out to them and probably give them other things that they can understand. That is why it is very important to have localized content. An example is if I go to a country that does not speak English and maybe they only speak Portuguese or something, and I give them content in English, the impact is not going to be the same. They're not going to be able to understand. But if the same thing happens, if I go to a woman or a young girl in my community and they only speak Luo, then how do I get this content to them? So the first thing is, if you know you're trying to reach to such people, get somebody who actually can relate to them. Get somebody who is at the same level, can understand the same dialect that they understand, because then you will be including them in any conversation that you're having. So localize the content, very important to do so. Yeah.
What I can say about women who don't know how to read and write, sincerely speaking, it's very hard for them to learn, and and to teach them how to use technology and smartphones and what. It's very hard, but what I know that is possible, as they don't know how to read and write, we have audios. So in that case, they can use audios. And then also in our phones, you know that we have icons. So with the images, they can know, because I know that there are most of women who don't know how to read and write, but they use phones. So for them to use a phone, they just see the icon and not this icon is to call someone, this icon is to maybe to calculate, this icon is to do some things, but just by seeing the icon and then also the audio. But in general, for them, it's kind of difficult. And as Enis said, another way is to work with someone who is in kind of same level with her, but who know maybe how to read and write. But they're in a comfort zone because they don't know how to read and write. But I think audio and then also use those icons can help them and their peers.
That's awesome. Thank you, Eunice and Jamila. Is there anyone else who wants to add? If not, then I'll go back to the chat. There's a comment from Waziri, and he says, most of youth who are digitized are those living in urban. What are those in rural areas? Technophobia is still, technophobia, this is a new word to me, okay? Technophobia is still a huge barrier to gatekeepers. They do believe it degrade our culture in African perspective. Okay, so this is a comment, but there's a question in it about what are the fate of the youth in rural areas, because technology is, being voiced up in urban areas more than rural areas. Maybe 1 minute for one of you guys to respond to this, because we're running out of time. The fate of the youth in rural areas. Anyone?
Okay,
Ali?
so I'll jump in. I'll jump in, Jess. So I think it's true, and I think technophobia is not only in rural areas; it's even in urban areas, and we can see that clearly. And of course, things are changing because previously everybody was taking technology as a threat, especially in rural areas. I've been there. I've been working with schools in rural areas, and they were taking anything you are bringing up which is involving technology, they are taking it as a threat. So we started to, the first thing you need to do, you have to elaborate to them like the value of technology compared to its negative effects, because we understand that any technology has both sides, like the positive and the negative side of it. So I think the best thing to do is trying to train them, try to give them the insight, like why they should use these specific technologies and the best way to leverage that technology. But I think it's still a challenge. And of course, right now, most of the rural areas are now connected to electricities. Now they're getting a lot of access to smartphone. Some of the villages now have access to proper internet access. So I think it's changing, but it's still a work of trying to give them the reason why technology is better. It's better to use technology rather than just staying with the technophobia mindset, like we don't have to use the internet or you don't have to use technology infrastructures.
Thank you, George. So there's another question this is a comment rather, from Liz. And she's saying, what is needed for young people to adopt the online tools and resources, such as learning platform, the same way or closer to the way they have adopted social media? This is a great one. And Eunice, I'm going to point a finger to you. I believe you have something to say on this.
Jessica got the turn now.
Oh, Ali, sorry, Ali, do you have a question?
No, actually, I wanted to share with Baziri about the technophobia and the ways he can overcome that challenge in rural communities. Recently, we had a project with one of the local organizations here in Lebanon, in the north of Lebanon, where we had a training with the religious leadership in the rural areas with the mayors and the Ministry of Social Affairs. We got them all on board. We had a discussion about the use of internet and social media as a whole. What are the advantages, like George said, and disadvantages? We are also planning to do several workshops with the youth in the rural areas on what to do and how to be vigilant when they are online, in order to be, having a safe space away from, cyberbullying, let them know about cybersecurity and stuff, and how to protect themselves on social media. Some of the resources we are using Google resources that are found online, like Google Maharat. And I guess this have been recently shared here on the text, as well as we're working with the whole community, with women and adolescent youth and girls, in order to reach a safer online use and social media use.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ali. That is insightful. I would like to read a few comments from the chat as well. one from Travis, and he says, there's no shortcut when it comes to digital literacy. Those who can read and write need to learn how to do so. No one will be there every day to translate or read contents for you. And another one from, oh, this is a question, but before I jump to this question from Ibrahim, I would like to get back to you, Eunice, to tell us about the question asked by Liz. What is needed for young people to adapt the online tools and resources such as learning platform the same way they are closer to, the same way they've adopted social media?
Okay. So the thing about social media.
2 minutes, thanks.
Okay, yeah. The thing about social media is it is because of a hype. So the same way, if we could hype as a youth, if you can figure out how to hype these learning platforms. I was looking at when the Google Africa Developer Scholarship Program started. Most people knew about it because there was 100 days of code or 100 days of doing something. You can still utilize the online resources and ensure that at least when you are using it to market or to share whatever platforms other people can use, then include context on this is why this is really important for us as youth. And a platform like this, this whole Tanzania Youth Digital Summit, it has really spoken out to other people. What I'm trying to say is the same way we get information out using social media, or the same way we have a whole hype as young people when it comes to using social media resources, is the same energy that we should put forward. So just share the context, share with others. If I always tell people, if I have a 4,000 followers and I share something on technology, if 40 people see it and 3 people share it, then they're also going to reach out to 40 more people. So it all begins with you reaching out to people and ensuring that at least making an effort for these other people to reach out to others. And it's all a whole ecosystem. So it's all about us getting the information out. There's no shortcut to it. Yeah.
There is no shortcut to it. Thank you so much, Eunice. From Waziri is asking Ali and George to share your emails with them. Last one from Ibrahim is, as we as youth, can we with campaign on how the owner of the phone network reduce cost of megabytes in some platforms for youth? Because in Tanzania, you can walk up to morning with new inbox text, which alerts you there is a challenge bundle, and this happen always. Like, can we get the internet service providers to reducing the amount they charge for bundles for young people? Do you guys think we can have such kind of a campaign? I wonder if this is the same situation in other countries, and this is for you, Jamila, Gerard, and Eunice. But in Tanzania, and George can testify to this, the charges for internet bundle and how it gets to, like you use it for a few minutes and it's over and stuff. I think this is what Ibrahim was trying to tell us. So do you think we can have a campaign to ask these guys to reduce it for youth platforms? Can you take 50 seconds to reply to this? Thanks.
I think when I mentioned about Kenya, we have the Blaze bundles. Let me just go quickly because it's 50 seconds. So we had the Blaze bundles for Kenya, and also we can do a campaign, yes, but there are policies that govern how such things happen. There are policies that may not allow that based on the country that you are in. So I think the greatest thing that you can do is try to figure out the policymakers who decide on this and figure if this is something that they would like to incorporate within your country, because this is now going to be country-based. As a region, I have no idea what can be done about it, but it's us to push forward for the conversation. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Eunice. So unfortunately, I cannot give time for others to contribute because we're running out of time. But I would like to say thank you so much all for joining. And before we wrap up, I would like to take, for you panelists to take 5 seconds each to tell me what is the message you have for a youth persona who is trying to tap into digital opportunities. Let's say this person is seeking for opportunities to create maybe a business. What is the message do you have for this person? 5 seconds each. And for you participants, you can leave your comment on the chat if you have any message for this youth coming out of school. 5 seconds each, guys.
Let me start.
Okay, I can start. So, for all the youth, whenever you have a good idea, you have to get help, work towards your goal. Don't hesitate. Go ask your friends, go ask your colleagues, ask everyone around you to help you reach your goal. Using digital literacy, using anything, marketing strategies, just get help. Don't hesitate. Search all the time. There's plenty of information online, plenty of people ready to help. So don't stop. Just go for your goal. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Judge. Next.
So I can say network to success. So do whatever you can do to tell people what you are doing. And secondly, get comfortable being uncomfortable. So get out, step outside your comfort zone and you will discover new opportunities.
Eunice.
Mine is just going to be confidence is an energy booster. If you're confident about your ideas, explore it. It may not work the first time out, but you have to keep on trying. So look at confidence as your energy booster. Every day you wake up, tell yourself that I am remarkable because I have this great idea that I want to try out. And another suggestion is if you have a piece of paper next to you every day in the morning, just write 5 reasons of why you are a remarkable person. This will always figure out that I can actually do whatever I step out to do. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think for me, I'll say that I believe that digitization is the future, and everybody and everything will go digital, no matter what. I mean, either we want it or not. So you just have to start now. Whatever you love it or you don't love it, you have to be digital. You have to do. There's no other way around.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eunice from Kenya, Jamila from Rwanda, Jad from Lebanon, and George from Tanzania. Thank you so much. Your time is valuable for us. And thank you so much, participants, for attending this session. There are many more sessions going on Tanzania Digital Summit. My name is Jessica Kimoso, and we have reached the end of our session. I wish you guys a good day. Bye. Kwaherini.